Info Plus for genuine information.
Namaste and welcome to the program Info Plus on Himalaya TV with me, your host Rebecca Chetri. Today we have the honor of speaking with Dr. Manish Thapa, Honorary Consulate of Costa Rica to Nepal. In this conversation, we'll explore the significance of Costa Rica's consulate in Nepal, the potential for bilateral trade and investment, and how the two nations can collaborate in areas like tourism and sustainable development. Dr. Manish Thapa is founding managing partner and managing director of Global Equity Fund, which is the first licensed and leading private equity and venture capital fund of Nepal. He also serves as Honorary Consul of Costa Rica in Nepal.
Costa Rica has both the seas, on the Atlantic side as well as on the Pacific side.
It has a beautiful meaning.
Oh yes, of course, it has a beautiful meaning. So the flag and the emblem also represents Costa Rica, the symbol. And the red part basically represents the sun, whereas the blue is basically the friendship. These are Costa Rican coffee. Costa Rica is very famous for coffee.
So is Nepalese also?
Yeah, so Nepal is also, but Costa Rica produces one of the most quality coffee. Even Starbucks use the Costa Rican coffee all over the world. So they are one of the biggest exporter of coffee too. The Costa Rican bird, toucan, is the national bird of Costa Rica. So Costa Rica is very famous for toucan. Toucans are big birds. So readily available in Costa Rica. And I think that this very rare birds which is only found in Costa Rica. And as I said in my interview also, pura vida, which is pure life. So this is the brand of Costa Rica. So in Costa Rica, everybody has a pure life. So everybody wants to welcome you there. So I think this also represents us because we do not brand ourselves like that, but obviously as a hospitality, especially in the field of tourism, pura vida has a very, very deep meaning. So everybody who goes to Costa Rica, they always remember this word, pura vida.
Pura vida. This looks very Sanskrit.
Yes.
He received his postdoctoral degree from University of Warsaw, Poland, doctorate degree in international relations from University of Tokyo, Japan, and masters in peace and security studies from European Peace University, Australia.
Info Plus for genuine information.
Namaste and welcome to Info Plus on Himalaya Television HD.
Thank you very much.
Costa Rica Honorary Council has been established in Nepal, and I believe it's been only 1 year, and I also believe that you are the first honorary consulate of Costa Rica to Nepal, and I would like to congratulate for that.
Thank you very much.
And how do you think it is important for Costa Rica to have the honorary consulate here in Nepal?
Thank you very much and welcome to the Honorary Consul of Costa Rica and Nepal. It has been less than a year. I was appointed December last year as an Honorary Consul of Costa Rica to represent Costa Rica and Nepal. When I was being appointed as an Honorary Consul for Costa Rica, the main objective of the Costa Rican government is basically to continue the bilateral relationship between Nepal and Costa Rica, which is very important because Nepal and Costa Rica is a very similar country in terms of the challenges that we face in terms of environment, in terms of various other economic issues. And I think after the visit of Honorable KP Sharma Oli in 2018, Costa Rica realized that they should have a representation office in Nepal. So this is one reason why they wanted to establish an honorary consulate office in Nepal. Secondly, obviously, there is a lot of Costa Ricans who visit to Nepal every year, which is increasing every year. And most of the Costa Rican love mountains. And so they come to visit the mountains. They do trekking. Costa Ricans are very, very sporty, kind of a nature people. So they like to walk. So trekking is one of the major tourism attraction for Nepal to see mountains. So that is the reason, because sometimes they might fall into problems and troubles, so they need somebody to rescue them or to help them, to support them. So that was another objective for the Costa Rican government to have a representative office, and obviously tourism, right, promotion of trade and investment. So these were the reasons.
So as you've been honorary consul of Costa Rica, how do you define Costa Rica as a country, and what similarities do you see between Costa Rica and Nepal?
Well, Costa Rica is a beautiful country. It's one of the country, very few countries where you have a natural beauty. It's poised with natural beauty, right? So obviously, in terms of attraction, obviously Costa Rica is a very small country compared to Nepal. With only about 5 million population, almost 1/3 of the size of Nepal. So even though it's very small, it's one of the beautiful country. Very interesting fact, Costa Rica is the first country in the world to abolish military. So it doesn't have any military. So it's interesting for that matter as well. And so it is one of the first country to take care of the environment. So after it abolished military, it used its budget to basically to invest in 3 sectors. One is protection of environment from 1970s onwards. So it's one of the country with natural beauty, and they care of their environment. Second, Costa Rican education system is one of the best in the world. And obviously the third one is Costa Rican healthcare system is important. So, looking into this perspective, we can learn a lot, right? And how, your question is how Costa Rica and Nepal is similar. Well, the first similarity is people-to-people relation. Costa Ricans are also, in terms of the family values and tradition, is very similar to Nepal. We have a similar kind of value system in terms of the family, how they treat with their family members. So that is one very important aspect of correlation. And I think in terms of the economic terms also, we both are countries where we attract a lot of tourists, right? We have natural beauty. So both of the countries, obviously it's different in terms of the element of natural beauty. For example, Costa Rica has volcanoes, it has beaches, it has other natural values. We have mountains, right? So I think that similarity can always be drawn between the two countries.
What do you think? What efforts can we make to enhance the tourism and cultural actions between Costa Rica and Nepal?
I think one of the most important
and also what is lacking?
I think the most important aspect is education, educating them, right? There is a country called Nepal. Obviously, almost everybody in Costa Rica knows about Nepal. They don't, in many countries that I've traveled, when I talk about Nepal, they say, oh, it's a part of India or something. In Costa Rica, they don't have this kind of confusion. Okay. Obviously, they know Nepal. They remember Nepal as the land of Mount Everest. They remember Nepal as the Mount of Buddha, because Costa Ricans are also very fond in yoga and meditation. So for them, Buddhism, the teaching and the spirit of Buddhism is very important. Even though they are not Buddhist, but they kind of adopt Buddhist principles. So they know the land of Buddha, which is Nepal, and for them, Nepal is a pristine, natural, habitat for tigers and a lot of other animals, especially elephant. They love elephants and tigers, right? So there is a lot of attraction for Costa Ricans to come to Nepal, and I see there a huge potential, especially in these fields and areas.
Looking forward, as you are an honorary consul of Costa Rica, what are your hopes for the future of Costa Rica and Nepal relations?
I think a great potential in the sense that fortunately, both of our governments have started talking, even though both countries are far away, right? It's far away. It's a Central American country, whereas we are in Asia, in the middle of Asia. But, recently there has been a lot of bilateral exchange that is happening from government to government level. There has been a lot of ministries started working with the Costa Rican ministries on a bilateral level. So that shows that there is already a kind of a vibrant relationship which has already been established, especially in the forum of United Nations, in the forum of the climate change, climate action, aspect. There has been a lot of bilateral relation that has been established. But my trial as an honorary consul of Costa Rica and Nepal, my trial is also to bring the people-to-people relationship between Nepal and Costa Rica. That has been on a trial, so hopefully a lot of Costa Rican will start visiting Nepal, and hopefully a lot of Nepalese will also start visiting Costa Rica.
So what do you think, what are some of the sectors that have attracted the most FDI between Costa Rica and Nepal?
So there are a couple of sectors. So for one of the sector that I think is very potential attracting Costa Rican foreign direct investment is garment, because garment sector in Costa Rica has not developed so much, and they are the net importer of a lot of garments from all over the world, right? So that sector, since Nepal, they love attire from South Asia. So I think that is one sector I think we can bring a lot of investments. The second sector I think on agro processing, because Costa Rica is a agrarian country. They export a lot of vegetables as well as fruits in the neighboring countries, especially in the United States. So they have a lot of expertise in that sector. So I think that expertise can be bringing here in terms of investment and technology transfer. So that is the second sector that we feel that there is a lot of investment that is going to happen. And the third sector I think we can invite Costa Rican investment is on IT sector. Mm-hmm. Costa Rica is one of the very vibrant, IT sector, IT market. And they do a lot of business with America, and they're expanding their IT investments all over the world. So I think that is another sector, because recently Nepal also started being a kind of an IT hub in South Asia. So I think we can also bring a couple of investments in IT sector. So I think these are a couple of sectors that we can bring a lot of investments.
So are there any treaties or agreements between two countries in place right now?
Well, the Nepal and Costa Rica signed a bilateral relation in 1977, August 16, 1977. So this is when bilateral relationship between Nepal and Costa Rica started happening. We have not have a lot of treaty and agreements in place, but my trial as an honorary consul is to have a bilateral investment protection act and treaty, as well as most probably double taxation avoidance treaty. So these are the two areas that I'm working, and my counterpart, we also have an honorary consul general of Nepal to Costa Rica, so Ana Victor Badela. So we both are working in terms of engaging both of the countries and also signing most of the agreements, especially on trade and investments between the two countries. So that is our trial.
As you mentioned, bilateral cooperations. Which area of bilateral cooperations do you think you would like to see prioritized in coming days, as you've been an honorary consul of Costa Rica to Nepal?
So basically tourism is one aspect that we see a lot of potential, as well as investments, as I said, in a couple of sectors where we can really bring Costa Rican investment in Nepal, and also their technology in Nepal. So this is the second. And also investment protection. Obviously, when the investor invests, they also like to see the investment to be protected, right? So we also wanted to enforce this kind of treaty and agreement between the two nations. And obviously on the bilateral side between Nepal and Costa Rican government, they are basically working in terms of the environmental protection, as I highlighted, in terms of the forest conservation and protection, as well as in terms of women rights, child rights, and the Arms Trade Treaty. So these are the couple of bilateral engagement that both of the nations has already started, working on.
What challenges do you face when it comes to increasing FDI between Costa Rica and Nepal? You must have faced different challenges.
Oh yes. Well, when we talk about Nepal and especially investment in Nepal, there has been a lot of rumors that when you invest in Nepal, you get a lot of different troubles. The investment does not get through, right? And then obviously you cannot take out the dividends or the proceeds of your investment from Nepal. And obviously there has been a lot of challenges in terms of a lot of multinational that has been in Nepal, has been facing a lot of issues, right? So obviously investing in Nepal is not so easy as it feels, right? So obviously because of these rumors, as well as the practical challenges that we face in the policy, especially in our FDI regulation, the Foreign Investment and Technology Transfer Act, which we call FITA, I think that has been a challenge. But I think the recent government has started basically looking into the challenges, not only for the Costa Rican investor, but the investor in general. So I hope in near future we'll have more conducive policies for investors from outside to Nepal, because we require FDI. And in that sense, if there is a more liberal policy investments from the foreigners, I think we can even bring a lot of investment from Costa Rica. So the policy of Nepal is more challenging than the investors finding investment in Costa Rica. I think that is something that is challenging for me.
So we can see lots of positive aspects in coming days between two countries.
Oh, definitely,
right?
definitely. I think I'm pretty much sure, because of the engagement of the Costa Rican counterparts, especially the Costa Rican government, is looking forward to work very closely with Nepal, and obviously with this, I think with the education from both, my counterpart in Costa Rica, the Honorary Consul General of Nepal to Costa Rica, as well as as an Honorary Consul of Nepal, as an Honorary Consul of Costa Rica to Nepal, I think we're working very closely in terms of educating the citizens of both nations about both countries. In fact, one of the very interesting part, especially on the Nepalese side, when I talk about Costa Rica, they only remember football, right? Because Costa Rica is a very small country, but a football powerhouse, and every year, every 4 years in the World Cup, they represent Costa Rica, right? So I think now I need to educate more to Nepalese about the potential of Costa Rica, right? And similarly in Costa Rica also, Costa Ricans know Nepal as a land of Buddha, or a land of Mount Everest, or a land of natural beauty. But I think we should also try to brand Nepal as a land of investment and a land of opportunities, right? So I think we're working towards that.
You have done so much in life, and right now you are Honorary Consulate of Costa Rica to Nepal. And do you have any sad or happiest moment in life, and would you like to share a few of them?
No, actually, before being an honorary consul, I was a professor working in Costa Rica. I was a kind of a academic diplomat working for a United Nations university there. So during that time, one of my happiest moments was to bring, even before being a honorary consul, before being the representative of Costa Rica, I was, honored and very much happy to basically bring together the Nepalese government, and at that time, facilitating the visit of the Right Honorable Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli to Costa Rica in 2018, when he became the Prime Minister then. And even honoring him as one of the freedom fighter, and granting him the honorary doctorate degree from the university that I work, from the United Nations University for Peace. So that was the point of start of the relationship between Nepal and Costa Rica, even though the bilateral agreement was signed in 1977, but it was not very active. So since then, both governments started, initiating, bilateral relationship. So I think that was the start, and that was the realization when they realized that, oh, now we need a representation in Nepal, So I was appointed as the honorary consul of Costa Rica to Nepal. So that was one of the happiest moment for me. Obviously, there are also a couple of, not sad, but, some of the depressing moment, because I was appointed as an honorary consul in 2020. But I was appointed in 2023. You see, the process almost took 3 years. And the process was much more on our side, in our bureaucracy, because it has to go through different line ministries, the file has to move, right? So even though I was appointed in 2020, it almost took 3 years. So that was a kind of a depressing moment for us, especially because, and it also kind of a question in the Costa Rican side, why the Nepalese bureaucracy is so slow. We're very fast. We appointed you. Why they are not really appointing you? Why your file is stuck, right? So that was a kind of a viewing from their side, especially our bureaucracy is very, very challenging, right? So that was a kind of a saddest moment, or at least a depressing moment, working in the bilateral relation between Nepal and Costa Rica.
Finally, as the Honorary Consul of Costa Rica to Nepal, what message would you like to give to the viewers who are watching you right now?
Well, I think most of your viewers are Nepalese. Costa Rica is a beautiful country. It's a country with a natural beauty. 70% of Costa Rica is a forest, so it's a very interesting. Most of the Nepalese most probably find their volcanoes one of the very interesting. And obviously the beaches that they have, it's one of the most beautiful country in the whole world. So for the Nepalese, I think I request them to visit, because that is my job, also to attract a couple of Nepalese to go and visit Costa Rica. Obviously, we cannot invest in Costa Rica, but obviously Costa Rica has a lot of opportunities, right? So that is something that couple of Nepalese who has Nepalese citizenship abroad, or who can invest outside, I think Costa Rica is also one of the very favorable destination to invest. And obviously, in terms of the relationship between Nepal and Costa Rica is one of the most welcoming country. They have this the whole grand a brand of Costa Rica is Pura Vida. So they call Pura Vida. Pura Vida means pure life. So if you meet a Costa Rican or if you go to Costa Rica, they always welcome you in their house. It's not, they'll welcome you in a restaurant or they'll just greet you. But they will say that, let's have a coffee in my house, right? So it's a pure life, Pura Vida life. So I think Costa Rica really provides that. And I think because of the nature, even Nepalese are very welcoming people, right? We love to welcome, our guests to our home and then treat them the best. It's the similar kind of a culture that we have. And I think the family values that I touched, in your initial question also, we have a very similar kind of a mindset of our family values, right? So in that respect, I think our people-to-people relation can be great. So try to make friends from Costa Rica, right? And you'll never regret. They will be your best friends forever. So that's the message.
It's been wonderful talking to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for taking this interview. And I'd like to welcome you to my office. And through your television, I'll also request if you need any information about Costa Rica, they can always come to my office. We also facilitate visa process for Nepalese to go to Costa Rica. So that service is also being provided. We also help them to legalize the documents if they want to work in Costa Rica or if they want to immigrate in Costa Rica. We also provide those kind of services. So all of you are welcome to learn about Costa Rica, to understand about Costa Rica.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Info Plus for genuine information.
Thank you, Dr. Thapa, for sharing your insights and perspectives on the evolving relationship between Costa Rica and Nepal. It's exciting to see the opportunities for deeper collaboration in trade, tourism, and investment. We wish you success in your role as the Honorary Consulate of Costa Rica to Nepal. To our viewers, thank you for tuning in Himalayan Television HD. Stay tuned with us for more engaging conversation that highlights the partnership shaping Nepal's future. Namaste.
Info Plus for genuine information.